Fair and balanced, unbiased and clear, concise and accurate. This is the DBS Evening News. Here now is your presenter with the headlines.
This is the DBS Evening News. The Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court will launch public education campaign across member states. CXC says it is not at fault over exam delays in Barbados, and news from the international scene: nighttime curfew imposed in fire-hit areas of LA as police warn against despicable looting. Details of the evening news right after this.
Here's a fun fact. In just 29 seconds, you can say goodbye to paper bills forever. Seriously, in 29 seconds. That's less time than this ad. Head over to discoverflow.co or visit us in-store and update your contact information now. By October 1st, your bills will be digital, easy to access, secure, and hassle-free. So what are you waiting for? This ad still has 2 seconds left, and you could have already gone paperless.
DBS News.
Welcome back to the DBS Evening News. The Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court is to embark on a public education campaign throughout member states. Acting Chief Justice of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, Honorable Mario Mitchell, told the opening of the new law year this morning the public education program will increase citizens' knowledge of the operations of the court.
Another major activity of the court, which commenced in the 2024 law year and will be continued in the 2025 law year, is the public education program. I have long held the view that there is insufficient knowledge and understanding about the court system in the Eastern Caribbean. And by the court system, I mean all of the courts which operate within our common juridical space. The Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court is the centerpiece of the court system in the Eastern Caribbean, but it is not the only institution within our court system. But is our court system and its various components understood by the public? The answer is a resounding no. And this lack of understanding is not restricted to the hypothetical man on the street. It exists too amongst men and women in every strata of the countries in this common juridical space that we share. The same is true of the awareness of our citizenry about the judicial officers who man the court system. Who or what is a magistrate, and how is this judicial officer referred to? Who is a judge, a high court judge, court of appeal judge, CCJ judge, and the law lords who preside over cases in the Privy Council? Who are these people? What do they do? What are they called? None of these are questions which can be answered by most of our citizenry in the Eastern Caribbean. There are several other aspects of our court system and our judicial system which are not understood by the people served by them.
And that's the Acting Chief Justice of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, Honorable Mario Mitchell. Other news this evening: a contract worth $7.9 million has been signed between the government of Dominica and local civil engineering contracting firm ACS Engineering, or that should be the ACE Engineering firm, for the construction of a new citrus certification facility at Woodford Hill. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit says the facility offers the private sector a new opportunity to invest in the agriculture sector. The project is part of the Emergency Agricultural Livelihoods and Climate Resilience Project.
So what we need really is for us to have investments in the private sector, because that's how Dominica was back in the days. You had Elrose and Company, you had Gist. Many farmers did not own any plantation. It really the big people who own, the private sector people who own farms. And so they brought to bear their capital into the farm and their management skills to the farm, and they had workers and they exported. After a while, we had land distribution mechanisms and all the smaller farmers started coming in. But that's how it always been throughout the Caribbean. And so for us to get to the level that we want to get, and of course we've set a target of $700 million contribution of agriculture to the GDP by 2030. It's a lofty and ambitious goal. But if you don't set high goals for yourself, you won't achieve anything. And all of the interventions of the government are geared towards inching towards that $700 million. So we're putting the infrastructure, we're mobilizing the resources, improving farm access roads. What we're also going to need in the country is consumption. We have a choice to make in terms of what do we purchase on the shelves of the supermarkets.
And that's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit. Meanwhile, Minister for Agriculture Roland Royer says the facility will improve the country's ability to supply citrus to the Caribbean region.
Today, we take a bold step forward to rebuild what was lost and to build it even better. This new citrus certification facility will not only restore our certification capabilities, but also enhance them, aligning with international standards and strengthening the resilience of the citrus industry. By doing so, we are laying the foundation for increased production, improved quality, and expanded market access for our farmers, as seedlings will be more readily available. This facility will play a pivotal role in repositioning Dominica as one of the leading citrus producers in the region. And this is very important because as we speak, there are countries in CARICOM and even OECS that cannot produce citrus and are importing the citrus fruit from Europe. Moreover, this project aligns seamlessly with the ministry's 5Cs program. When I say 5Cs, I mean coffee, cocoa, coconut, citrus, and a silent C, which is medicinal cannabis, and the government's broad objective of increasing agricultural contribution to GDP to $700 million by 2030.
And that's the Minister responsible for Agriculture, Roland Royer. Minister for Finance and Economic Development, Dr. Irvin McIntyre, says the construction of the facility demonstrates the government's commitment to rebuilding Dominica's citrus industry.
The contract of $7,795,514.88 being signed today represents our ongoing commitment to achieve our shared vision for a more productive agricultural sector, which not only contributes significantly to economic growth and development, but also addresses our national food security. Our citrus industry has been challenged very severely by climate change and associated pest and disease. The citrus tristeza virus and the citrus greening disease has dealt us a heavy blow. These are two destructive and costly diseases to manage. It has taken persistent effort by this government to rehabilitate and sustain a resilient citrus industry. The National Resilience Development Strategy, the NRDS, is very pointed on the expected contribution of the agricultural sector to export earnings and national food security.
And that's the Minister responsible for Finance and Economic Development, Dr. Irvin McIntyre. 39 Calypsonians will compete for a place in the quarterfinal during the 2025 Dominica Calypso Association's elimination round, which will get underway tomorrow. Here is the Public Relations Officer of the Dominica Calypso Association, Joey Lloyd.
We have the eliminations this Saturday the 11th. And this will be at the stadium forecourt. Now, I just have a couple minutes to let you know that we have some big acts for you. We have some returning Calypsonians. I don't want to call any names to give anybody any favors, but I must mention that Scruncher is coming back, so the entire East should be back. And I can tell from the buzz in the room that we are already excited. It's just about the elimination to Saturday. We want you to come out in large numbers to support Calypso, because you know Calypso is part of us. That's our culture. And quickly, I want to mention that the quarters come up on February the 1st, the semis on February the 15th, finals March the 1st. And of course, our Tier 2 tickets are now available on MyFed Tickets. DBS.com. Be at the eliminations this Saturday at the Stadium Forecourt.
And that's Joey Lloyd, the Public Relations Officer of the Dominica Calypso Association. Well, DBS Radio will bring live coverage of the eliminations from 8 o'clock at Windsor Park Stadium tomorrow. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit is not ruling out the introduction of a fee for garbage collection in Dominica. Mr. Skerrit made this statement this week.
And I just find that there's a growing sense of a disdain for the environment and for cleanliness and for tidiness. We have a responsibility. You cannot take your garbage from a village and just dump it there in Bourne or in Dodan or in Mayo or in St. Joseph, and you're not even from Mayo or St. Joseph. You go to America, all of your vehicles are full of garbage because you can't litter anywhere in America. And people want the government to do something about it. When the government pass laws, people saying the laws are too draconian, the laws are this, the laws are that. So sometimes we have a problem in Dominica, but we don't want the government to do what the government has to do to solve the problem. We have to preach in this country individual responsibility. We cannot say the government doing this and the government should be doing that, and next thing when people doing things, we're going to give people responsibility. And I think part of the problem with the garbage in Dominica and littering is an individual and a community challenge. And I think we have to show people and teach them good waste management practices at schools, at communities, and nationally. And I think at some point the government has to consider a small fee for garbage collection in Dominica. There's no way in the world I know of where people don't pay for that service. And it's a huge cost. So sometimes now the trucks get damaged and they're down, and this is where sometimes you have a difficulty in garbage collection from time to time.
And that's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit. The Dominica Festivals Committee has announced a number of activities on the calendar for Carnival this month of January. Here is the Communication Specialist and Public Relations Officer at Discover Dominica Authority, Monel Alexis.
On the 14th, there's a Jazz in the City Carnival Edition. On the 18th, we have the opening of Max Dominique right here in Roseau. The 21st, Jazz in the City Carnival Edition. Thursday, 23rd of January, Reggae on the Boardwalk. Friday, 24th, Pan in the City. On Saturday, 25th, we head to the Portsmouth for the Portsmouth Town Carnival. On Tuesday, 28th, Jazz in the City Carnival Edition, and back to Reggae on the Boardwalk on the 30th of January.
Communication Specialist and Public Relations Officer at Discover Dominica Authority, Monel Alexis. On the feature segment of the DBS Evening News, Red Cross volunteer Augustus Bruno of Focole takes the spotlight. Mr. Bruno joined the Dominica Red Cross over 15 years ago. He is our feature on the DBS Evening News.
I was walking past the office heading down into town, and then I saw they had some activity happening. I was not sure what was going on, but when I came in to inquire, it was to do with World AIDS Day. It was a campaign they had going on, and they had a walk in town sometime in the week. So then when I inquire, they told me what it was about, and then I say, okay, I would have joined because I would like to go out and experience what is going on over there. When I came in, they talked to me, and then after that, I have just been a volunteer for all these years.
What has been the experience like going out there helping out people in distress, people who are experiencing problems almost any time of the day? What has been the experience like for you?
Well, the experience has been, I would say, rewarding. Because when you go out and you help somebody and they tell you thank you, or they tell you God bless you, it really makes you feel like you accomplished something and then you're doing something good. And also, if you're a humanitarian and you're not into money, though money is important, but at the end of the day, it's a voluntary organization, so volunteerism have to be part of you for you to really enjoy the benefits of giving back to people who are less fortunate.
For those who are listening to you and they know about the Red Cross, but they don't know what it entails, can you tell us some of the things that you have to do almost on a daily basis?
For me, on a daily basis, if there's sometimes we do ambulance run, so we have our ambulance service, and then when the people requesting the service call in, then when the information comes, the director then calls you or informs you that and asks you if there's a possibility that you can go out, and if you can, well, most of the time I'm available, so I say I would normally do it. So that's how it is. And then there are other things we do. We have our first aid trainings, we have our basic life support trainings. We also have trainings in mass casualty and disaster management and all these other things.
Do you think there are enough people in Dominica as members of the Red Cross?
Well, I would hope so, and I would like to see more of the young people involved, because it's like I said, it's very rewarding, and if you're into giving back and helping people, the Dominica Red Cross is a place for you.
Have you had the experience going abroad, overseas, to take part in any Red Cross activity?
No, I haven't, but I'm also a volunteer with the St. Lucia Red Cross, so whenever I'm in St. Lucia, I always go there to take part in the activities and help do the same thing I'm doing in Dominica.
What was COVID-19 like for you, the experience working or serving during COVID-19?
Well, I was not in Dominica during COVID-19. I was in St. Lucia, but I was also helping and volunteering with the St. Lucia Red Cross during the COVID era, where we had to help them make packages for people. Because, at that time, supermarkets were closed and everything, so we put packages together, and then we went out to the communities and deliver it. So, yeah, it was a really good learning experience for me, I would say.
Finally, use this medium to speak to the people of Dominica, particularly the young people.
Well, I would like to send a call to the young people out there that if you feel that volunteering is something that you need to do, or you feel like giving back is something that you need to do, but I advise you to come to the Dominica Red Cross, fill out one of our application forms, and when we have our meetings, you come to our meetings, and then as you go along, you become a member and you get more involved, you receive your trainings, and then you will see what it is to be a Red Cross volunteer.
And that's Red Cross volunteer Augustus Bruno. That too is a look at the local focus. We'll bring you regional and international highlights right after this.
Here's a fun fact. In just 29 seconds, you can say goodbye to paper bills forever. Seriously, in 29 seconds. That's less time than this ad. Head over to discoverflow.co or visit us in-store and update your contact information now. By October 1st, your bills will be digital, easy to access, secure, and hassle-free. So what are you waiting for? This ad still has 2 seconds left, and you could have already gone paperless.
DBS News.
In news from the region this evening, the Barbados-based Caribbean Examinations Council CXC has distanced itself from the disruptions in examination for Barbadian students this week, saying that the matter rests with the Ministry of Education in Barbados. Students face significant delays in writing their exams due to furniture shortages at examination centers and last-minute changes to the Spanish oral exam schedule, prompting an apology from the ministry. In a statement responding to the situation, CXC directed attention to the statement issued by the Barbados Ministry of Education while noting the distinct roles in exam administration. Meanwhile, the Barbados Ministry of Education expressed regret over the situation, saying, while there were some matters that were beyond their control, the ultimate responsibility is theirs to ensure that the examination center is fit for purpose. Finally, this evening, a nighttime curfew has been imposed in areas impacted by the devastating wildfires blazing across Los Angeles. The rule will be in effect as police warn that anyone involved in despicable looting will be arrested. At least 10 people have been killed in the fires so far, and it's estimated 10,000 homes and other structures have been destroyed. President Joe Biden has described Los Angeles as a war scene, while warning the death toll is likely to increase. We can't increase the time for news. We've gone past our schedule. The Sports Report, next on DBS Radio.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins and bidets. PVC piping, fittings and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Let's begin the DBS Evening Sports Report with cricket news. The West Indies batsman Dominican Alec Athanaze was just short of a century as he hit 98 on day one of a three-match tour against the Pakistan Shaheens 11 in Islamabad. At the end of the first day, the West Indies were 273 for 7 from 74 overs. Alec Athanaze 98 of 148 balls, Craig Brathwaite 34, Mikhail Louis 34, and Casey Carty 22. Athanaze had this to say about today's match.
Alec, 98 today, but overall, what was your reception of the wicket and how did the surface play?
I mean, obviously it was a slow wicket. It had much grass on it at first, but the ball did a bit, which was a bit surprising. It did a bit for the pacers, but it spun a lot, so... all in all, I mean, it suited my game a bit because I play spin very well. I sweep, I reverse sweep and stuff, but I mean, I would have loved 100. But, I mean, you know, there you go.
Yeah, 13 fours and a 6. Just looking back at the innings, how did you build that innings from start to where you got out?
I mean, it was slow at first because I came in when it was approaching a break. So I was just, trying to assess and see what was going on. I mean, we had a couple net sessions, but it's still time in the middle is still valuable. So, I mean, it started up slow and then, I kicked off right after the break. And then, things started flowing on.
And 273 for 7 at the end of the day's play. I don't think score really matters, but time. What has been the reception of the other players in terms of what they encountered on the surface?
I mean, it was good to see, that we actually got chance to stay out in the wicket. Not just trying to survive, but also trying to score. And, it was good to see us finding ways to score in conditions that were so difficult for scoring. And playing the spinners, they were very good spinners, and playing them and actually picking off and scoring runs and things. That was the biggest point for us today.
West Indies batsman Dominican Alec Athanaze Kavem Hodge scoring 12 in the match. Cricket West Indies CWI has announced the schedule for the West Indies Championship 2025, which continues the 8-team format introduced in 2024. Teams will be battling for the prestigious Headley Wicks Trophy and an attractive prize purse of $250,000 for the champions and $100,000 for the runners-up. The teams competing over 7 rounds of matches are the defending champions Guyana Happy Eagles, Barbados Pride, Combined Campuses and Colleges, Jamaica Scorpions, Leeward Island Hurricanes, Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, the West Indies Academy, and Windward Island Volcanoes. Both the West Indies Academy and the Combined Campuses and Colleges (CCC) have retained their places as permanent fixtures in the championship following their impressive debut seasons. Guyana Happy Eagles won last year's competition to earn their 7th crown in 9 years after heading into the final round with 3 other teams. The competition will kick off on January 29 and will end on the 15th of February. The first round of games will take place in 4 host countries, Guyana, Trinidad, St. Vincent and Antigua. For the second and third rounds, play extends to Barbados, Dominica, and St. Kitts. The second block of matches commence on March 5th, with the 4th and 5th rounds scheduled to be held in Barbados, Jamaica, St. Lucia, Guyana, and Antigua. The tournament resumes just under a month later, with the final 2 rounds in Antigua, St. Kitts, St. Lucia, and Trinidad from the 2nd to the 12th of April. Matches will begin at 10 a.m. daily, while ping ball matches will commence at 1 o'clock. The acting president of the Windward Islands Cricket Board, Clement Maslin, has described former Test umpire Billy Doctrove as a great ambassador of the game. His comments came last night as sports personalities, family and friends and well-wishers from here and abroad met at Fortune Hotel last night to celebrate Doctrove's 50th anniversary as a member of the Dominica Cricket Umpires Association.
Billy, as we affectionately call him, is one who is always calm, one who was always there even in difficult times. And as rightly said by the previous speaker, he continues to support the Umpires Association through thick and thin. No matter how long it takes for Billy, he will get it done. And I am really elated that within my lifetime I was able to interact with somebody who doesn't only think about themselves, someone who thinks of the greater good, someone who is always willing to be a mentor, and someone who is always willing to tell you when you go wrong. And that's what umpires do. They will tell you if you're out. And I just want to say again to Billy, congratulations. 50 years is not an easy task, but it is one that depicts commitment, perseverance, faith, and a lasting hope that most of our Dominicans are endowed with. So we have to celebrate Billy, and I'm thankful for this opportunity where we can all gather and really recognize him for what he has done, and I know he has done above and beyond the call of duty.
And that's Clement Maslin. He is the president of the Dominica Cricket Association. Well, former executive secretary of Cricket West Indies, Andrew Seeley, also addressed last night's ceremony.
Billy progressed nicely and did his first one-day international, as mentioned, in 1998, with that illustrious son of Jamaica, Steve Bucknor, at the other end. And then his first test in 2000 at the famous ARG. In 2002, he was appointed to the ICC International Panel of Umpires and stood in the finals of the T20 World Cup at Kensington Oval in 2010. He, however, retired at the relatively tender age of 56 in 2012 after what can only be described as an outstanding 14 years at the top, having officiated in 38 tests, 112 one-day internationals, and 21 T20 internationals. Not bad for a boy from the Nature Isle who only ever wanted to be a good umpire, as he told me way back in 1991. As we reminisce here now at this cricket function, I know all of us as fans are holding our heads in pain, even as we watch the continuous decline in our cricket, where we find ourselves basically rated at the bottom in all 3 formats. Mr. Prime Minister, I beseech you and your fellow leaders to take hold of our West Indies cricket. I never thought that as a former employee of the board, I would ever say this, but we need to redirect our path to a winning direction. We don't even have a selection panel now. Literally, none of our heroes are in any way involved in the management of our cricket. And yet, when I speak to them, they are all willing to help and assist. But the last one was the most Honorable Desmond Haynes, and he was recently thrown away on what I consider to be a very vague pretext. And our coach is now our selector, and our selector is now our coach. I'm not sure what's happening with our cricket. However, lest I be accused of being political, let me pause here and once again congratulate my dear friend on this milestone achievement and say how happy I am to be here in Dominica again and to be part of this Golden Jubilee celebration.
Barbadian Andrew Seeley. That too is a look at the DBS evening news and sports on behalf of the news and sports departments and our link person, Joseph Fadul, of course. Curtis Matthew saying good night. Don't forget, tomorrow morning we bring you the DBS morning news and the sports. And of course, we will bring you at 9:30 Ivona and Nigel. They will be around bringing you Connecting the Dots. We have a lot in store tonight. Leroy Waddick's Charles will be on sometime tonight. You don't want to leave DBS throughout this evening. Curtis Matthew saying good night.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins and bidets. PVC piping, fittings and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
DBS Radio gives you top quality service over any other for live streaming of funerals. Call us today at 448-3282.
Good evening and welcome to the evening edition of the DBS Radio Community Bulletin Board. It is the 10th day of January 2025. We begin with the evening edition of the DBS Radio death announcements on the Community Bulletin Board. We announce the death of Lucy Smith John Charles, age 73, of Salisbury, who resided in Dallas, Texas. She died on Wednesday, the 11th of December in Dallas, Texas. She was the mother of Laurette, Annette, Currell, and Lucia in the USA. She will be remembered by her grandchildren, Chard, Aden, Kernisha, and Jerlana. Her sisters, Rita, Catherine, Alces, Delia, Marina, Julietta, Magdalene, and Agnes. Her brothers, Heston, Tonton, Hesford, Joe, Simbert, and Norman. Nieces, Lisa, Pinky, Stacy, Gracie, Happy, Dee Dee, Jocelyn, Deborah, Brenda, Gersha, Michelle, Heslin, Jody, Jemima, Audrey, Ashley, and Kimisha. Nephews, Johnny, Lucky, Andy, Daniel, Mickey, Jefferson, Jeff, Kimani, Cohen, Ricardo, Michele, Norbert, Filbert, Joe, Limbert, Herman, Jonathan, Aswad, Jamal, Danik, Gillan, Ari, and Jarek. Sons-in-law, Charlie Felix and Jeffrey Williams. Sisters-in-law, Ulixia, Ado, Maynor, Anne, Francisca, Linda, and Judy. Brother-in-law, Eric Sarah. Godson, Tyron John Baptist. Close friends, Elaine Chillingford, Ma Leon, Joanna and Yulina. Cousins, Seth, Decima, and June. The Smith, Vidal, and John Charles families of Salisbury and St. Joseph, and other relatives and friends, names too numerous to mention. The funeral arrangements for the late Lucy Smith John Charles of Salisbury, who resided in Dallas, Texas, will be given in a subsequent announcement. We announce the death of Nima Melissa Sarah, age 39, of Maho, who resided in St. Martin. She died on Thursday, the 19th of December in St. Martin. She was the daughter of Matthew Amber Sarah and Maria Colette Alcendor. She was the mother of Kelani, Kayan, and Yannick Sarah. She will also be remembered by her stepmother, June Sarah, one sister, Lisel Alcendor, and her niece, Anika, nephews, Dianic and Darian, aunts, Claribel Wallace, Clavia Joseph, Valda Lovelock, Honora Maxwell, Ophelia Balthazar, Evadne Sarah, and Jennifer Alcendor. Uncles, Simbert, George, and Emil Paben Sarah, Joseph, Frederick, and Elwin Alcendor. Numerous cousins including Jane Ann, Jensen, Pinky, Mara, Ensign, Elucia, Ellery, Delroy, Roger, Angus, Miranda, Anisha, Tanisha, Martina, Ross, Malison, Thora, Laura, Tamara, Mervyn, Rigel, and Wanda. In-laws: Annette and Claudia Sarah and Cassian Balthazar. Best friends: Angelica. Caregivers: Gerda and Raymond, Do Red and family. Close friends: Rosanna, Lisa, Jason, George, and also Kemuel Henderson, Wanda and Rigel as well. Many other relatives and friends including Felix Thomas and family, the Sarah family, the Badwell family in Maho, and the Alcendo family in Grand Bay. The funeral service of the late Nima Melissa Sarah took place on Monday, the 30th of December 2024 in St. Martin. A memorial service will be held in Dominica in February. The management and staff of the Dominica Broadcasting Corporation extends deepest condolences to all bereaved.
And now, your Community Bulletin Board.
Let's now present to you this evening's edition of the DBS Radio General Announcements on the Community Bulletin Board. The Dominica Export-Import Agency Dexia is seeking information on the availability of Dashin to fulfill their upcoming shipment to the UK market. Kindly call the Roseau Park House at 275-5973 or the Portsmouth Park House at 275-7092 for further information. Persons wishing to attend the funeral service of Lucina Labasia of Good Hope are asked to assemble at the Castle Bruce bus stop at 1 p.m. on Saturday, the 11th of January. Bus number HF 548, driven by Randy Daru, will be available. We've come to the end of the general announcements. We have some What's On coming up like this.
Do you remember when Pan was king? Well, the Ministry of Culture, Youth, Sports and Community Development and the Cultural Division presents Pan in the City Street Jump Up in memory of the late Wilfred Poncho John Baptist, Edward Andre, and Alan John Baptist on Friday, January 24th, 2024 at 6 p.m. on the Bayfront. There'll be guest performances by Pan in Harmony, Pussy Culture, and guess what? Quan, Little Boy, Shally will be there, backed up by Stilpen. It's Pan in the City Street Jump Up. Let's relive the memories of the good old Pan music.
And we've come to the end of the Community Bulletin Board live on your nation station DBS Radio. Thank you very much for joining us. The next edition of the general announcements on the Community Bulletin Board will be tomorrow morning from 6:10 a.m. with the morning edition of the death announcements, and then at 7:40 with the general announcements and What's On. Don't forget to hear your announcements on DBS Radio, the nation station, coming to the sales and marketing team's office Mondays through Fridays between the hours of 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Also, you can give us a call at 448-3282 or 448-3283, same times and days mentioned, except holidays.
Fire that. Yo, DJ Tasmin, Tuna Boy, Candy. Yo, merci. Watch them. Just watch them. Yo, watch them. Just watch them.